MG have announced UK pricing for the MG4 electric hatchback, and it's going to take the market by storm. Back in June, I brought you the news that MG were planning to launch a new electric hatchback in Europe, the MG4. Competing with the likes of the Nissan Leaf and the Volkswagen ID.3, it's an exciting entry to a segment of the market that's massively underserved. Got plenty of choice if you want an electric SUV, but a Focus or Astra-sized hatchback, not so much. Using MG's new modular scalable platform, it marks the beginning of a new era of MG electric vehicles, building on the strengths of those top-selling models that they can't deliver enough of, but also introducing an adaptable platform that can be used to serve all sorts of needs in terms of body style, range and capability. Before I unveil the pricing, I'm asking you to click that like button. It's free of charge and it helps keep the algorithm moving. And if you're new here, click subscribe as well so that you don't miss out on any EV news, reviews or rants. Today they released the pricing for the UK market and I think it's very well placed indeed. It starts at $25,995, which is definitely a part of the electric car market that's currently very underserved. I wonder if it would really be sub 25k if the government hadn't abolished the grant. Who knows? So for your $25,995 you get the SE standard range model. Powered by a 51 kilowatt hour battery, it'll deliver a WLTP range of 218 miles, which I think, back in the real world, where people don't actually need to drive from John O'Groats to Land's End non-stop, a very usable real world range which I think will meet a lot of people's needs very well. The majority of people with a Focus or Astra-sized car probably aren't doing those mega mileages that the people in the comments tend to tell me they are. As you'd come to expect from MG, even the base model SE is very well equipped. Adaptive cruise control standard as part of the MG Pilot suite of equipment. You'll find a 10.25 inch touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, DAB radio, and all models in the range support the iSmart app, which gives you the app-based monitoring and control capabilities everybody's come to expect from EVs. I've never quite understood why that is such an essential feature for so many people. When I had the Mark 1 ZS EV, it was one of the biggest things people droned on about. Oh, it doesn't have an app, it doesn't have an app. But at least you'll not have that issue with the MG4. 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds, and amusingly, 0 to 30 in 3.1, which is a stat not often published, shows that it's no slouch either. And of course, 39 minutes to charge from 10% to 80% on a 150 kilowatt rapid charger, and 52 minutes on a 50 kilowatt one. So I'm guessing the maximum charging rate is somewhere around 70 to 80 kilowatts, as per the rest of the current MG range. Not to be sniffed at, I would say. Maybe hold you up a little bit on, cross-continental trips, but in a fairly standard, family hatchback, I think it'll be perfect for the majority of needs and absolutely adequate for this segment of the market. And of course, that's the base model. If you have a bit more cash to splash, you can have the SE long range, which has the same equipment level as the SE standard range, but a bigger 64 kilowatt hour battery. And that will set you back £28,495. WLTP range of 281 miles for those that need that extra range. They do sacrifice a touch of performance, with the 0 to 60 time dropping to 7.7 seconds. Not sure how you'll cope with that. Very lazy. If you're determined to show the neighbours just how big a deal you are, there's always the range-topping trophy long range. Absolutely packed with tech, like a 360 parking camera, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, the ability to use your mobile phone as a Bluetooth key, live services via the iSmart app, whatever that means, and wireless mobile phone charging. You'll be the talk of the town if you push the boat out. $31,495 is the price to play though, and I think that's a little bit too much of a jump up. Is it really worth it? Time will tell once they start hitting the roads, but it's definitely I would say this model for those less concerned about frugality, which to me goes against what buying an MG is all about. I can't quite work out why, but from the specification on their website, it currently says the trophy top of the range model has a WLTP range of 270 miles, 11 less than the SE. I wouldn't have expected its extra features to contribute that much to reduction in range and consumption, but so it's a bit odd for sure. The combined consumption figures that back that up show that the standard range model has the highest combined consumption at 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, the Trophy at 3.7, and the SE long range at 3.8. I'd be very interested to learn why that differs between the models. I'm sure it makes very little difference in the real world. I mean, 0.1 miles per kilowatt hour, it's not really going to make that much difference to your life, but I'd be interested to know why the tests differ like that. So, which MG4 would you buy? I personally think it makes much more sense at its 25,995 entry point than it does perhaps further up the range. I'm sure if you really need the extra range, you might plump for the long range model, but I think you need to question whether it's actually worth it. You know, an extra £2.5 grand is a decent amount of money, and unless you are very regularly going to be driving beyond its range, I'm not sure that you'll need it. And I'm not sure it makes a whole lot of sense in that 31495 full bling spec. But do tell me in the comments, which MG4 model would you opt for and why? To compare to the competition is quite interesting. So the VW ID3 currently starts at 36,195 for the 58 kilowatt hour version, which has a WLTP range of 264 miles. So I would say it's pretty comparable to the long range MG4, but you can't buy the smaller battery ID3 at the moment, and I think that would be the real comparison to the standard range model. And a 40 kilowatt hour Leaf starts at 28,995. So I think MG have got the pricing here absolutely spot on. They're undercutting the competition by a decent way, and I think they're going to absolutely smash the market to bits, providing they can keep up with demand. There's an awful lot of you out there still waiting for the new model ZS EV, and MG have made a bit of a balls up of it, really, let's be honest. I'm told that the MG4 is made in a completely different factory, so hopefully that means that the long lead time issues aren't going to follow, but it's a bitter pill to swallow if people start getting their MG4s delivered and you're still waiting for your ZS EV. Not ideal. Finance pricing is going to be very interesting to see, I think. Of course, very few people actually go out and buy a new car with cash these days. And predicted residuals for lease or PCP make a huge difference as to whether people will actually buy these cars or not. The Leaf, for example, 40 kilowatt hour Leaf, often available on very reasonable leases. And that makes a really big difference to how much they appeal both to personal buyers and to fleets, where manufacturers will obviously make the real big sales. That's the MG4 pricing for the UK market. Very exciting stuff indeed, and I think it's positioned very strongly to do very well against the competition. Let me know what you think in the comments. Lay off on the, oh, I wouldn't buy a Chinese car stuff though, because I mean, it's just been done to death. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and you want some more EV related news in your life. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.